Hey, everybody. Welcome to another fine edition of the Post Credit Show. I'm your host, Ronnie Williams.
In Geneva.
Hey, Geneva. Welcome.
Thank you.
I think it's your first time on the show.
Yes.
We saw some very fun and very interesting movies. Interesting in very different ways.
I agree.
But we were able to meld them and, do a kind of a review of this past year in movies. Like, what is the weirdest and what's the most original?
I agree. I agree.
So for those of you joining us for the first time, we welcome all comments. We're trying to be the most interactive show on YouTube. So if you have an opinion, hey, get at us and, we'll zing off you.
Yep.
If you jump in and say, The Matrix is the best movie ever, we'll discuss it a little bit. You cool with that, Geneva?
I don't remember The Matrix, but okay, we'll go.
They threw it on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
I think it still is on Netflix, or it was on one of my streamings, and I threw it on. I'm like, wow, it still holds up, still good.
I don't think I've seen it since it came out.
I recommend it. They also had like a throwback showing in theaters, and I totally went out to see it, and it was fun seeing it on the big screen again. And hey, Hearts
Noble.
Noble. Cool.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us, and feel free to comment. We like to start off the show with saying how soon people should see a movie. That's our rating system. So we'll start off with Cats. Should they see it right meow?
No, not at all. Not at all. I would say wait for that to come out on DVD, or it's not even worth a bootleg.
Oh wow!
I don't think it's worth a bootleg.
That's low. Yeah, I'm going with like. We'll get into it later, but it's super niche that I would say read a book.
Yeah, or actually I can say in the positive side of it is if you love Broadway, I think that if you love Broadway, go see the movie. But if not, then no, you're going to be disappointed.
Hey Gwen. I can't think. For me, because of Broadway, don't see it. Like, we'll get into this later, but yeah. What about Knives Out?
I'm going to have to say yes. See it now.
So yeah, Knives Out, one of my favorite films, definitely in November. Maybe the last half of the year. Like, it's right up there. Very interesting, very fun. Totally go see Knives Out
I definitely agree.
ASAP. So yeah, and I don't know how much longer it's gonna be in theaters. That's always a factor
Yeah.
we try to factor in. I think, Star Wars sucked up a bunch of oxygen and then wasted it. No. But yeah, like, if you haven't caught a movie yet, it might be too late. Like, I think Joker's come and gone, finally out of theaters.
I think so too.
So Knives Out, I think you have maybe a week, maybe less.
Yeah, I would definitely say go see it.
Okay. Gwen Williams saw Knives Out, and she loved the mystery.
Yes, I liked it a lot for that because I approached it, for me personally, I approached it like the movie Clue with Tim Curry. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be awesome. And I have to say, not disappointed in any way, shape, or form. Between Don Johnson and Jamie Lee Curtis and their characters, it was perfect to me. I was like, oh.
Yeah, great cast. That's what drew me to it. Like, do you want to discuss Knives Out first? Yeah, because I'm super jazzed about this movie, and we'll bash Cats later on in the episode. But yeah, Knives Out, very enjoyable. We'll have the trailer in the background.
And eliminated.
Turn down the volume. Whoops. Sorry if I just blasted you with Sinatra music, but yeah, very enjoyable. Like I said, the cast very diverse, and like whenever Daniel Craig does a weird accent, I'm like all in.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the movie Logan Lucky.
No.
He plays like a redneck that helps rob a racetrack.
Oh, wow.
Starring Channing Tatum and Adam Driver.
Okay.
So yeah, a great cast. Yeah, it's a heartfelt movie too, because of the reason Channing Tatum is robbing the racetrack is to secure money so he can see his daughter because she's moving away with the ex-wife.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's like a country song almost.
Sounds fun.
It's really good. Last I saw it, it was on Amazon Prime. If you're a Prime member, you could see it for free. So I'd recommend Logan Lucky. But yeah, circling back, I mean, Daniel Craig is doing like the Hercule Poirot role, you know, except he's like a Southern gentleman, you know, detective, and it's interesting because they lay it out like everybody's motivations right away, you know, in the family, like who should have murdered it, and we're getting into spoilers here, folks. So if you haven't seen the movie, you know, look at her funny expressions, but you know,
It's a good movie.
like yeah, I hate to say tune out, but no, it's really that good. But yeah, they lay it out like you know the motivations of all the people involved, why they want to murder, and they're very decent motivations. And then it lays out, oh, this is what actually happened.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, and it's more the cover up.
Yeah, that's what blew my mind is just the whole we can spoil now. We can spoil the whole poisoning aspect. I did not see that coming. It was just it's like okay, he died from poisoning, but then it goes to did he really die from poisoning? How did he
Right.
die? And I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean?" And then they bring in this like scientific proof. It was I really really liked the
Right.
movie.
So maybe we'll hold off the real ending, but we can go through some of the
Okay.
steps.
Okay.
But yeah, like because he's the guy who gets murdered or allegedly suicided.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that was another layer too, like layers within layers.
Yeah, was it suicide? And actually, we didn't really give it away because we didn't say if it was suicide or murder.
Right, and it's ambiguous for a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what I liked. It was like the back and forth. It's like, well, was he murdered? Was it a suicide? Was it just old age? And it just, the camera, it would go from like one scene to the next scene to the next group of the family members, then to the detective interviewing people. It was just really, really good. And like I said, Jamie Lee Curtis and Don Johnson were just brutal with their acting.
Right.
I loved it. I did love it.
And Jamie Lee Curtis, I mean, she is such a treasure. I mean, True Lies, she just
Yeah.
knocks it out of the park.
Yeah, and to see her like go that angry and the words coming out of her mouth, like you wouldn't think that because she comes off like almost wholesome, and Jamie Lee
Sometimes.
Curtis, and then it's just like, wow, your
I mean,
mouth.
she's also a scream queen.
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true too.
She cut her teeth in horror from the beginning in Halloween. Many Halloween movies, actually. Some of them they've forgotten. But yeah, I really enjoyed her. Daniel Craig, I think, also stood out. What is that? I'll have to look it up. Because she was really good in Hereditary.
I didn't see that one.
Oh, Toni Collette. Toni Collette is a great actress. She played like the lifestyle person. She married into the family.
Oh, okay.
And so, yeah, she had the daughter that was getting her college paid for. Turns out she was pocketing the money for herself.
Like, how would you react to that in real life? You know, like that's what I liked about it so much. Just how do you react to that in real life? It's like, hey, I know that you're lying, and instead of doing what this money's supposed to be for, you're
Right.
taking it and you're pocketing it for what?
Well, like she has
She was good, too.
she has like an unsuccessful lifestyle website. Like I think they're poking fun of like Goop, you know, the Gwyneth Paltrow website.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh well, they're most made fun of for sticking jade eggs in places jade eggs aren't supposed to go.
Oh my god.
And that's all I'll say.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. So yeah, and they're all about crystals and you know that new agey stuff, and so it was kind of fun. So they're kind of like the liberal wing of the family, and then you have
What was the one grandson that was kind of like he was like far alt?
yeah, his Jacob Thromby, played by Jaden Martell. Like
Yes.
they kept saying how
The
he's
fight
a Nazi.
between him and Tony, that was like, it was amazing. It was like enough politics to just make you so mad. It's like, you know what?
Right.
Walk away.
But yeah, and if you're worried, like they like don't get too heavy into the politics, like it's just painting.
Yeah, and it
You
was
know,
really good. It was
like-
like, wow, I just walked into my aunt's house.
it's
This is
in the
fan-
background, but
fantastic.
it also like it's just a vessel to show you where these characters' standards are. But they're all gross hypocrites.
Yeah, and I think that's what I really, really liked about it. That's for a murder mystery of how each character was unique in the aspect of their status in society, with them being rich. I really, really liked that with how he brought all the characters to life like that. I really, really did.
Yeah. And so, yeah, excellent movie all around. Yeah, and Gwen saying it was a very smart movie and loved the young main actress too.
Yes,
Many
yes.
twists in the movie. That main actress, we looked
Her
her
name's
up.
Anna. If I say that
Ana
correctly.
de Armas.
Yeah, she wasn't she just adorable?
Yeah, and it's a different kind of character you don't get too
Yeah.
often in these murder mysteries. Like she knows everything and she physically can't lie.
Yeah.
It makes her physically ill if she lies. Like she literally vomits in the movie if she lies, and that's an amazing, you know.
That's something you don't see coming.
My buddy Sergio will like to know she has a movie coming out called Sergio
Oh, that's hilarious.
in 2020. So something to look forward to, Serge. And we're looking at her other
She's in the new Informer.
the Informer
I
movie.
think it's next month.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what Informer's about. Yesterday, uncredited, in Blade Runner 2049, War Dogs. So she's been in quite a few things, but I think this is definitely her breakout role.
I think so too.
I mean, she does such a good job, very charismatic, and like a lot of times, like in an ensemble film like this, like she would be lost, or like the focus would be solely on the detective. It was nice, the balance between her and Daniel Craig.
Yes.
Like you don't see that often, you know. Like I watched that Murder on the Orient Respects, the redo they did with Daisy Ridley and a bunch of like hot people right now. Gad was in it.
No idea.
Yeah, well, like definitely once they murdered Johnny Depp. He's the guy who gets murdered, and everybody's a suspect. Everybody's a suspect, you know.
Why would they kill Johnny?
Um,
Can he die? I mean,
I won't go into it,
Yeah,
but yeah. Oh, Sergio goes, "Jeez." I could just imagine him saying, "Jeez." So I'm gonna make you watch that Sergio film, Serge. But yeah, all around fun film. Go see it, guys.
and it's like I said, I wanted to see it because I liked Clue. I really, really love Clue. I love murder mysteries, and I was not disappointed because you get a movie sometimes and it's like, oh, you don't really know too many of the actors or actresses, or like, do they throw in a big name actor or actress to kind of get the people to come see the film? And not disappointing at all.
Right. So if you like that scene where all the Avengers are bickering in the first Avengers film, you'll
Yeah.
love this.
Yes. And if you have an eccentric family, like mine is fun. It's just like watching your home life on TV with the arguing. I like that a lot. It's just hilarious.
Cool. So, want to talk about... Meow.
Tonight,
Let's talk
is
about
a
this movie
magical
right
night
now.
where I choose the cat.
What's a meatter with
He
Mew?
deserves a new life.
Like, if you are annoyed by me making fun of, meow sounds, it's much better than the nonsense
More
ones.
entertaining.
What's weird about cats? It is
I judge a
oddly
cat by its soul.
like you
I've
do
got
get
plenty of
in
soul.
it. Like they do draw you
Spotlight.
in,
And
you
a
know,
drum roll,
rather
please.
well. Like I think my favorite
It's
song
party
was
time. The
Something
most deserving cat
Pumped is a
will be reborn
curious
into
cat.
another life,
So the Jason Derulo song.
So they can be who
Yeah.
they've always dreamed of being.
Yeah. Jason Derulo.
What's your name?
Cat got your tongue?
Like I was gonna ask myself, whatever happened to that guy? And it's like, oh, he's a cat.
Yeah, but if you like the family, I will definitely say if it includes it like this. One of the neat things about it is you're like pretty much up on stage.
Don't mess with the crazy cat lady.
Now it is time
I like
to
that.
make
that if you
the
were-
choice.
It kind of brings you a lot closer to the stage. So I did like that aspect, and
Yeah.
everything else was just. I will say that I feel that Rebel Wilson saved the show. We laughed so hard. at her
Yeah.
character because she needs to stop. Rebel she's hilarious.
Right. So we were lucky enough to see the movie together.
Yes.
Yeah, and much more enjoyable to watch it with people. Like it's a good bad watch or try to puzzle it out watch.
Well, I will say my favorite part of the movie where Ronnie's just like, "Wait, is that James Corden? Is that James? Is that James Corbin?" And I'm like, and then I'm like, "Oh!" And his performance, he plays a good idiot.
Yeah.
But to see Ronnie cringe, because I know what that means when you see someone like on TV or the radio. Like for
Right.
me, it's Taylor Swift, and to see her that up close and personal
Oh.
hurt my soul because she's like in your face, like,
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I'll throw up a photo. Like it's funny. Like while researching for this show,
it took me pretty much almost to her character scene was over, and I'm like, who is that? And I'm looking, and then I'm like, is that Taylor Swift? And I'm like, oh, why? Because she's already 6 feet tall. I think she's already 6
Yeah,
feet tall.
she's
Her
a tall cat.
costume.
She's a
is
tall
awesome
cat.
though. Some of the costumes were just really, really nice. Hers was one of them. Jennifer Hudson's not so
Yeah,
much.
let's-
It kind of looked like she was like the runt of the litter. Like
well, isn't that half the point though?
Yeah,
I
like
got Jennifer
her,
Hudson's photo.
it's like her what is, I don't even know what that's called. Her makeup. It just didn't look like it fit her head enough. For
Well, yeah. Well, that's an ongoing problem because I don't know where the makeup begins or the CGI ends, but half the time it looks like just their faces are plastered
Yeah.
on 100% fake body. And then other times they're like, oh, that's pretty good, leotards. And then other times it like you just never know where it's at. And I think that's works against the film, much to detriment. Like you keep touching on all these subjects like, oh, it's like they're on stage on Broadway, the costuming. But for me, I don't know where the real begins and the fantasy ends. Like it's subtracting it so much. Like my favorite dance number was the Railway Cat one where he's tap dancing. And then
Yes.
like it sounds like a train chugging along. It's like
Gregory Hines would have been very proud with that scene.
Right.
The tap was amazing. And like I said, it's like if you're into Broadway, it would be a movie to go see. But like if you're going to see it as a movie, you've never seen Cats before or had that experience, I don't recommend it.
Right. I had maybe caught it once in choir, like when we had a substitute.
Damn those substitutes.
Right.
So mean.
But yeah, I mean, the actual Broadway play of Cats, there's no plot until way at the end.
Yeah.
It's just all these cats introducing themselves.
Yeah.
And it's basically songs that's mostly just them saying their own name.
Well, how did you feel about the singing? For me, I really thought that once I recognized who Taylor Swift was, I really felt that Jennifer Hudson was holding back in her vocal, like just with her singing. It's like, wait, you're Jennifer Hudson, like, let's do this. And it's like, You know, I guess they didn't want to like outshine one another.
Right.
I couldn't figure that part out. But like I said, it's Jennifer Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just really expecting more with her vocals. And
Well,
I
yeah.
was disappointed that.
Like, it's obvious, like, oh, let's grab Jennifer Hudson. We'll win an easy Oscar.
Yeah, right.
Like, but I think it's a swing and a miss. Like, even though Jennifer Hudson did a good job, like, it was so bogged down by everything else. And you noticed something on Jennifer Hudson's face, and I had to lie to you in theaters because it's like really wet right here under her nose, and you're
yeah.
like, "Is that snot? I'm gonna throw up if it's snot." And I lied to you because
I wasn't going to bring that up.
I had to. We had to.
Her crying ability. Go ahead. It was,
But yeah, like it was real tears, but she's crying the entire movie. And it does look like there's just snot running down. But like I interpret it as, oh, she's a sick cat. That was an artistic choice. But you're getting sick. Like you're going to gag.
As you can see the snot. I'm like, wait, and it's like, you know, it's like 6 feet in my face. It's like right
Yeah.
in my face. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
a lot of close-ups.
And I was waiting for the bubble. I'll stop. I'm going to get sick.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just, I was.
Well, let's switch to another topic. Gwen's asking, I heard people would walk out of the movie. Any theaters were basically empty. I could see people walking out. Like, if they are completely uninitiated with Cats, a couple songs in, like, my weirdness meter filled almost immediately. And then I kind of got into it. And then, but as it went on, like, at the end, I'm like, just finish it. Just finish the movie.
Who is the gentleman that I'm curious about? When people walked out, I'll tell you why they walked out. Was his name James?
Oh, Idris Elba?
Is that his name? The one where they airbrushed him out?
Yeah, that's Idris Elba.
They airbrushed him out.
Right.
Disappointing. They airbrushed him out. He's airbrushed out.
Right. So Idris
So I
Elba.
figured a lot of people went to see
Oh,
him. The
no.
single women that were in there, you know they
No.
went to go see him.
No.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did. They're like, oh, they airbrushed him out.
Well,
I was curious. I know
Like-
you're not curious. I was curious.
well, like here's the thing. Like, if anybody heard anything about this movie, they would have known. Oh, they neutered him.
that's pretty much
They spadered him. But yeah, I think people would have gone in and like, you know, if you don't take that leap, like if you don't jump in full 2 feet into this film, like, or have some stakes in it, like it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because like they basically did figure out how to do a plot, which is miraculous because Cats absolutely has no plot. It basically every Cats song number is them auditioning to become
To be reincarnated. Yeah.
right to basically die.
I
Be a hot
actually
air
this
balloon.
I will say would be a great for like a modern theater for kids in theater class. What is it called these days? Drama class.
Right.
I think that would be perfect for them. But aside from outside of that,
I think even that's a stretch.
yeah, I was really disappointed.
I mean, I'm actually more jazzed about this because I don't know.
Some of it was good though, but like I think Rebel Wilson stole the show. She
Mm-hmm.
just, and some of the acting, the dancing, the singing, it's just it was good, and then it just really wasn't.
But it's see, that's what's tough though. It's like, are they really dancing? Like I took that leap and like, okay, I bet you this is mostly real.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But then it's tough because it's like all green screen because you know.
Well, they did say that they had them go around and mimic cats.
Right, they
for
went to
bodybuilding,
cat
But,
school.
and I can see where the dancing, you see where it's like a little animated, and you're like, oh. But yeah, I wouldn't. Actually, if you're mad at somebody for the holidays, put this in their stocking stuffer
I don't think it's
instead
out
of
yet.
a lump of coal.
I
For
think-
next year, instead of a lump of coal for whoever celebrates, just put that DVD. Remember that time? You know, just put the DVD in there.
Maybe I don't know. Would it be weirder just to give them the soundtrack without the images? Because the songs are so repetitive and nonsense.
Yeah.
Like Marvelous, Mystical, Mr. Mistopheles.
That's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, but they say
said
it
it.
18 times.
Yeah.
Magical Mr. Mistopheles.
It's like the never-ending loop.
Yeah.
You're just waiting for the breakdown. Where's the breakdown? Just over and over and over.
Like, it's funny. We should know all these cats' names because they repeat them so often in their own songs. I have the hardest
I
time.
don't. Do you remember? I just remember Rebel Wilson.
I had to practice McCavity. Like, if it wasn't for me practicing it, I wouldn't remember McCavity.
Isn't he the one with the suit?
He-
With the suit that you were.
So yeah, he was the bad guy, played by Idris
Yes.
Elba, and you'll see him. I'll point him out. Hopefully this syncs up. But yeah, there's Idris Elba, and you see he's not wearing a hat at that point. But most of the movie, like he's wearing clothes, like he's wearing a hat and like a big old jacket. And it's weird. Some are wearing clothes, some are not. Some are just wearing collars. Some are wearing high top shoes. I'm like, wait, why do high top shoes fit them? But yeah, when Idris Elba took off his clothes and it was just a cat leotard, it really threw me for a loop.
Ooh, we were all looking forward to that leotard.
Yeah.
Nothing.
So yeah, I hear it's lost a ton of money. They're actually thinking about doing the Sonic the Hedgehog thing, redoing some of the graphics, and
Because of this movie, that's bad.
yeah,
That's
like
terrible.
they're gonna say, hey, theaters, keep it in. We're gonna send you a better version.
Well, what did you think of Ian's performance?
Ian McKellen, I
Yeah.
mean, he was fine. I could barely understand him.
See, that was the other thing too. His voice kind of sounded really low.
Right.
Like when he talked, you really had to listen, and I don't like that because again, they were on a stage and it's like, I
Right.
understand he's older, maybe he can't project his voice as loud. I don't know, but he was very difficult to understand at times.
Yeah, so it's tough. Gwen asks, after I saw the previews, I had no desire to see it, but curious to see if it goes on Netflix or TV.
I don't think Netflix would take it. You think?
Maybe on a bargain. I wonder which studio backed it. Like, it might end up on the Peacock.
Or Fox. Fox takes anything.
Well, Fox is Disney now.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awful.
Yeah. And it's funny, it's the same director as the guy who did Les Mis, and Les Mis did so well.
Yeah.
So, like, you can see where the ideas were coming from. Like, okay, we have this Broadway play no one goes to see in real life anymore. Let's throw it on the big screen, get a bunch of stars, and people will see it,
Well, you would think that for, how long did I say, 38 years? It's been out since May 11th, 1981.
That's insane.
And you would think that, you could tweak it a little bit. Like, I never understood that, like, especially with sales.
Right.
Try to change. It's a musical. You can change, you can add, you could take away, you could do all this stuff. And I'm kind of disappointed they haven't done that in the past 38 years. My goodness,
Oh, yeah, like,
You would think, and I understand to
inject
keep
more
it,
life into it.
Yeah, and I understand you want to keep it the same, but at the same time, it's like, well, you want people to come see it, kind of change it up a bit.
Yeah, I don't think there's much they could do. I think they're like, hey, people like this musical for some reason. Like, maybe they didn't even understand.
Theater kids.
I don't think there's enough theater kids anymore. But yeah, it's really so niche. Like, it's the most niche. Like, I claim to like musicals, and then I realized, no, I really like movie musicals because most movie musicals do not sing in between songs.
Yeah.
Like, that's what really takes me out of most musicals is when they're singing lines that don't need to be sung, just to move the plot forward. I'm like, just act.
Yeah, just get to the point already.
Right. So I like School of Rock. Great musical.
That's great. That was a great musical.
Right. I don't know if you saw this one, Sing Street.
No.
It should have won at least one Academy Award for most original song. Got buried because it was a Weinstein production. So yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, it sucked, but yeah, it would have knocked anything out of the water.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, it got the shaft. Wasn't even nominated that year. Sing Street, I think, is still on Netflix. So I'd check that out if you want a good musical. But yeah, it's really hard to recommend Cats because it is so niche, and like even cat lovers like the Railway Cat song, like they pointed out like how the Railway Cat thinks he runs the trains and keeps the trains on time, even though we know no he doesn't. But like it's weird, like it's people's opinions or inferences on cats, being bossy and magical, even though they're not. It's really odd and meta and just way too much.
I hate cats.
Oh boy, we've lost all
I have
of our.
I have a love-hate relationship.
Oh no, I see our numbers dropping.
I know. I try to love cats, but see, just when you trust them, they do something. Like, example, why are you walking and they swat at your ankles? Like, why do they do that? And then when you're like, don't swat at my ankles, you walk past, they go and they do it again. Or they jump on the table, just knock everything over. And you're like, why are you doing this? So I have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I'm fine with cats. I'm pretty allergic to them. Hearts and Noble.
Yes.
Hearts and Noble. Do you think cats wouldn't be as hated if they didn't do the CGI?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm going to have to say that's a 50-50 just because it was, like Ronnie was saying, it was very hard to tell where reality stopped from fantasy. So it's like taking away from the actor and actresses and what they're capable of doing.
Right. So I think they tried to do it as a money-saving measure. So like if someone messes up a dance move, we can just replace it with a CGI version. But I honestly believe they would have had a better time if it was everybody in cat leotards.
Yeah.
And the really big head makeup.
Without the airbrushing.
And maybe animate the tails. That's what you could have done.
Yeah, that would have been kind of neat. They were kind of going
just
awkward.
Animate the tails, instead of having like just real rigid ones attached to a leotard.
Yeah, I think could have done a little better with that, I think.
Like, I made a joke about this on our social media. So, like, the main cat who, like, they're taking us through this, it's like the audience's mouthpiece or whatever. Like, she would just break out into ballet poses and just stick a leg up, like, no reason, random. And it really reminded me of Excalibur from Soul Eater, that anime.
Okay.
Fool! Because you just pose for no reason.
That's what cats do. They have masters. Like, this is cats. But I don't know. They did say that they were studying cat movements and how cats act.
Cats do ballet moves?
I'm assuming. They do that stretch thing?
Well, they stretch, but do they stand up on one leg and then point all three of their other limbs up in the air?
I'm checking my memes in my head.
No,
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
So, fair point. Yeah, CGI. I think they just took a $100 million bath.
Yeah, I think they used too much.
And they're throwing more money at it.
Well, that was the thing too. If like the jumping, like why not just use a cable? That's what I didn't understand. They CGI'd it. They just why? You could have just used cables.
Yeah. So yeah,
People just don't want to get hurt.
I think this would be fun to watch in a group of people. It's not a Netflix watch. This is like an event watch. You go in knowing that it's weird as heck and try to figure it out. Like, we were having fun because you didn't know anybody who was in it.
No.
Like, at one point you were like, I'm going to look this up on my phone. And I didn't want to bash you at the time, but people on their phones in the theater drive me insane.
And Ronnie's like, no, be surprised. I was hurt.
Well, whatever got you off the phone the quickest, that's what I said. But no,
it was well worth it though.
Yeah,
it was well worth it.
Yeah, it worked out because you were like, "Oh my God, that's that guy! Oh my God, that's that guy!"
Yeah, and it's just the whole Taylor Swift. I'm scarred.
I was waiting for that.
Taylor, you owe me a refund.
No,
half.
Cat Tay Shui is the best Tay Shui. I got a blank space, baby, and I'll write your name. I actually really like that song. So thank you for joining us for another fine edition of the Post Credit Show. I think we've covered everything, but seriously, go see Knives Out. We left a ton of meat on the bone. Great cast. Just look at them. Captain
Yeah,
America's
we like
in
half
it.
spoiled it. We didn't fully, because that's how much we liked it.
Yeah.
So we actually only half spoiled it if you haven't seen it.
Right. So
But Cats, nah, boo.
yeah. So we're looking at the schedule for the movies coming out. Apparently 1917 doesn't get full theater release until
Like January.
10th, I thought I
Yeah.
saw. So when that comes out, we'll probably do an episode on that. And there's also Like a Boss, Tiffany Haddish comedy that looks
She's my
good.
babe.
Underwater, a sci-fi
Yeah,
horror.
that looks pretty cool.
So yeah, we got some good movies coming out. Taking us, maybe a little break again.
Because there's really nothing out there.
But yeah, thank you so much for participating and joining us. Just look at our social medias, and we'll let you know when our next episode is. Thank you for joining us, Geneva.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
See you, everybody.